evening, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG review show. Yay! Yes, round of applause. Good evening, everyone. Whoop, whoop.
Let me try that again. Yeah,
Yeah,
baby.
no, you're not on mute.
Oh,
Yeah.
you on mute there?
Came up screaming at me saying, your mic is on mute. That's a new feature.
No, that's good.
Oh,
Well, I didn't mess the intro up this time, G. This time you did.
So have you got all the questions ready this evening then? Because we're
No.
swapping roles. So in this episode, we start off with
Yeah.
blah, blah,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah.
So yes, good evening, everyone. It is us. We're back again for another TNG review show. It is Wednesday. I'm joined by my co-hosts Muzzer McBob and G-Star. Good evening, chaps. How are you this evening, Maz?
Yeah, good. Yeah, my work isn't too hectic at the moment, unlike some people. So yeah, it's been quite nice. I've been doing a lot of cooking this week. I made a rainbow Asian salad last night, so I'm having that for the next few lunches, with some homemade hummus. I do love to cook when I have time.
Yumsies. Yeah. And G-Star, how have you been?
Yeah, you know.
Busy.
Yeah. That's pretty much the only way to define my life as being busy.
Busy.
Literally jetted into the studio a couple of minutes before we went live, but I made it. I'm here. I almost asked for a night off, trying to suppress the urge to film another Vault, because this week, one of our audience members who's with us in chat this evening, Mickey Early, he shared a really piece of interesting footage with me this week. And I must confess, I haven't had the time to fully digress it yet and watch it. I just watched the first 30 seconds. Yeah. What did I say?
Digress.
Did I?
But I digress.
That's a bit weird. That's probably because I was watching Goonies last night. And you know, Mickey in Goonies, he's always constantly saying words that are wrong, and his brother then corrects him. That's what it is. We just fell into Goonies right there. So anyway, I digress.
But you digest. Yeah.
Yeah, I digress, but I digested. So I only digested about 30 seconds of it, but it looked really, really interesting. So I messaged him back to say thank you, but I'm really eager to. So Mickey, just to let you know, I am going to feature it in a Vault.
Hey.
A Mickey infused G-Star Vault.
Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
expect a WhatsApp message from me, Mickey, with lots of questions about where did this come from? What's going on? Who is it? Evening to Stu Plum, who's also joined us, and the lovely Crystal Karen.
Crystal Karen is here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yet to see
Hey,
Wave
everyone.
from Smiler.
No, she's
Doing dishes.
She's currently doing dishes. She's in. I just about to see her through the window. She's doing dishes, but she will join us. She will be here. She's listening in. She'll be posting your questions and whatnot. Have no fear.
Good, because I did send her my questions. And also in chat, we have Mazza McBob. Hi, evening, Mazza.
Long-term watcher.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What is it about, Karen? It is about unexplained flying objects. UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. That's what it's about. So watch out for that one.
Ooh-ah.
Hopefully get it done in the next week or so. Maybe on Sunday. Maybe not. Depends whether we're going tangential.
Yes, Sunday. We're carrying on with our theme of Mazza McBob and myself having a gin with the TNG review show, and tonight's gin is Silent Pool Gin. Yes, it's an award-winning gin produced at the distilleries located on the Duke of Northumberland's Albury estate in the Surrey Hills. There you go.
Lavender, chamomile, citrus, and velvety local honey. That's what it's supposed to taste like.
So let's have a try of that.
Sorry, I'm a little bit behind.
whilst you guys are drinking, I'll just say then, well, because I can't bear the taste of gin and think it tastes like the devil's semen, I've got a beautiful
Welcome to my drink.
donut to
Oh,
digest. So
nice.
I'll be digesting that donut as the show goes on.
You'll have to
Good-
tell us what
good
that
luck.
tastes like as well.
Good luck eating that through the stream. Will be no licking of lips. That's what we want.
Oh my. Oh, that's a bit tasty.
It's very nice. I can see
Oh
why
my
it's award-winning.
gosh, that is so smooth.
That might go down to one of my favourite gins. I think it's very nice.
Wow.
Anyway,
Gosh. Oh, I'll be putting that on my my Amazon shopping list.
that's very nice. Silent Pool Gin. There you go.
Really
It's probably
good.
one of the nicest we've had so far
That is just
of the
beautiful.
2 or 3 gins. It's got like
Did
the
you-
flavours and.
Did you, Maz? Did you happen to catch the Monty Zone last Friday at all?
I did not, sadly.
Okay.
We ended up watching the 2021 Suicide Squad. I actually
good.
had a bit of a sort of slight medical issue earlier in the evening, and I was on the phone to like NHS 111 and all that kind of stuff.
Oh
And
no!
Oh,
then by
God.
the time all that's sort of finished, and then we settled down to watch a film, and I completely forgot about Monty's Air. Went out of my head.
Well, I only bring it up because you would be disgusted to know that Monty was drinking Hardy's Merlot during the show.
I was.
What-
Bin
Wrong
161.
with
You know.
that?
Well,
Well,
it's a
bin
terribly cheap, nasty wine.
bin apparently. I mean, bin 161 is like, you know, it's the barrels where they just mix everything together and make something out of it. You know.
We
So
had wine connoisseurs in the chat, you see,
Yeah.
and they were really
Forgetting
ripping into the fact that
Criticizing my choice of wine.
Yeah. I mean, first it was just the whole Merlot thing,
I mean,
and then
if
it
it's
became
not out of a box,
what-
you're doing pretty good, right?
Exactly. It was from an actual
yeah,
bottle.
very, very posh if it's out of a glass bottle rather than a box.
Yeah.
And then on the other thing that was happening is as we were on the show, our subscribers were just going up and up and up as we were
That's true.
live on the show. And the channel now sits at 102. We dropped 4 after the show finished, but we've crossed that line.
Hey,
We're over 100, so we're into
nice.
3 figures. So we're very happy about that. Very happy.
But it went up to 106.
Yep.
Very good.
So very good.
There you go.
That's
Everybody's
very
probably sitting there going, right, start talking about Star Trek, will you?
Yeah. When you get on start,
Yeah,
what
let's
about
go.
Star Trek?
Well,
So-
I mean, last week I barely had enough trivia to fill a page. This
Yeah.
week I've had to take all the spacing out because I didn't want to have to print quite so many pages. So I've managed to squeeze it onto 5 pages. But that's very different to the amount of goofs and trivia I had last week. So I might not get through it all, but I'll try and pitch in bits and bobs as I can as we go through.
Yeah. I will say, I've been watching reviews of, don't judge, Knight Rider on the Knight Rider Historians channel. It's one of these channels I like. And I've noticed when he does show reviews, he always starts off with some production details at the beginning. So I thought I'll give that a go this episode. So starting off with some more details than I normally provide. But
Okay.
so today we are reviewing Booby Trap, episode 6 of season 3 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, production number 40273-154. It's the 53rd episode of TNG of 176 and the 160th episode of Star Trek in general. Yep. So there you go. It was the
Nice.
53rd. It was the 53rd to be produced and the 53rd to be aired. And it aired 30th of October, 1989. So there you
Smiler
go.
says, geek.
Geek.
let us know in chat if you found that information enriching.
Well, I quite liked it. And I was like,
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
being
do that.
sarcastic. I'm not being nasty. Honestly, sometimes I
There we
can
go.
be, but I'm genuinely liking that.
Geek, thanks, Smiler. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, the teaser. So we'll get straight into it.
So this episode is called Booby Trap, right?
Yes.
Well, I know we talk about our feelings after the show towards the end, but I just got to start off by saying, a bit disappointed that throughout the whole episode there's not one single booby in it.
I wouldn't have thought you would have really cared about that sort of thing, G.
Do you know the
your
etymology?
persuasion?
Do you know the etymology of the phrase booby trap?
Well, no, but
it
you're
was
the trivia
coined-
queen, so
It was coined by the guy from Goonies. No.
I don't know if he was around in the 17th century, maybe. But there's actually two different stories as to where the name booby trap came from. So one is that it came from 17th century sailors, and that they used to have like a little rope noose with a bit of bread on for when they were out at sea and they needed to catch food, and they would catch birds like the booby bird, which is a type of seabird. And that is where it came from. But there are also other reports that it came from the 17th century from, the word, the Spanish word bobo, which means naive or foolish. And, like there used to be an old phrase, oh, don't be such a boob, as in don't be a fool. And there's also the phrase booby prize, which means like the fool's prize. It's effectively like for getting last place. So there was, another report that it came from the 17th century because the word booby means fool. So yeah, I'm not sure which one was true, but if you look it up, there's multiple occurrences of both of those two explanations, both from the 17th century.
There you go.
There you go. See, look, Star Trek has the board queen and we have the trivia queen.
It's true. And Smiler says geek at me. I don't know. It's not fair. Yeah. You probably want, here we go. Pictures. There we are.
If Boba is fool, what is Boba Fett? Smiley wants to know.
Yeah.
So he's foolish Fett, I guess.
Foolish Fett.
If
And-
he speaks Spanish.
Talking about booby trap as well. Today's Klingon word of the day,
Is booby.
booby trap, which is govam. So there you go. Booby trap.
Govam.
Govam. Yeah.
Govam.
Govam. So we've had
So do you
good night.
think
Good
that-
night, which is Majram. Klingon knife, which is Daktar. And booby trap, which is Govam.
And we also did kapla at the beginning, didn't we?
Oh, and Kapla. Yeah.
Do you think the van bit of that word is trap and then the go is the baby bit?
Yeah. Go.
Van.
Vam.
Uh,
Yeah. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Okay, so into the episode, Booby Trap. Geordi is in the holodeck trying to woo Christy, a fellow crew member, his date. He has programmed a romantic sunset over a beach and set out a picnic. He tries to introduce a gypsy violinist and then tries to edge closer to her, He goes in for the arm around the shoulder, but she turns him down. She says he's a terrific guy, but she just doesn't feel that way about him. Basically, he's totally friend-zoned, which is the story of his life, really, poor Geordi. In 10 forward, Wes is playing Data at 3D chess. Wes remarks that the asteroid field is the remains of Aurelius 9. It was completely destroyed in a war. Geordi walks in, 10 forward, and gets a drink from the bar. Wes remarks, uh-oh. Geordi spent days working on the computer program for his big date with Christy. It obviously hasn't gone very well. Data agrees. Uh-oh. He does that sort of data mimicking thing, where he's like, I'm human too. Then Data gets summoned to the bridge. On the bridge, Picard says they are picking up the remnants of an ancient interplanetary code. Data analyzes and confirms that to be the case. They lay in a course for the source of the signal, which turns out to be a Promillion battlecruiser. Picard's amazed and noticed that the fusion engines are still intact. Data confirms there are no life signs on board, and Picard says that's because the distress call originated from over 1,000 years ago. And that's the end of the teaser. Gee, do we have a question time?
Well, you would think that we do. And we do. Question
yeah.
time. So, heads down, ready for your first question of the evening. It is the Ensign question for that all-important first rank and worth 25 TNG points. The question goes like this. What coordinates does Riker state the signal is coming from? What coordinates does Riker state the signal is coming from? Is it A, 200 Mark 71, B, 222 Mark 61, C, 333 Mark 61, or D, 444 Mark 71, or E, none of the above?
Oh, God, none of the above.
Gotta love the none of the above.
I hate the
So while
none
we're
of the
waiting,
above.
a couple of bits of trivia around the beginning. Did you notice anything about Picard?
Yes, I did. I noticed it straight away. I was very
So did
excited. I was super excited. Do you know what we're talking about, G?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Which is
He
calling your bluff.
he was wearing glasses.
No.
No? Okay.
He had the new uniform without the little seams and panels and things. He's the only one, I think, that had the new uniform in this episode.
He is. He is the only one that has it. So that makes him the first ever. I have a picture, actually. I have a picture. I was all ready with this.
So that was
'cause I had
quite
a feeling.
exciting to me.
There we go.
Also, you don't ask any music about what the violinist plays, I presume. Oh yeah, there you go. No seams. Look, no seams.
You can see that. You can just bake out the seam down Riker's uniform here and here. No seams, and the
looks much
waist is
better.
more elasticated, and it's
Yeah.
just slightly looser fitting. It looks.
And they took a
it looks
little bit of padding
better.
out of the
Exactly
shoulder
the
pads as
same.
well. Oh, shoosh.
It's not. You see the way his is arched like that, and his kind of dips. It's completely different.
Maybe that's just
There'll
his
probably be
chest.
some shots of Geordi later, and we'll show you the seams. Like they're so obvious. But anyway, I'm glad it's finally changed.
Here you go. He doesn't see the difference, so there you go. This is Picard wearing the new uniform. See its bagginess. And here's Geordi wearing the old uniform. And look, you can see the seams.
Yeah, but there's also these diagonal ones, which I find really weird. It used to
Yeah,
make
you can
Picard
just
look like he
see
had
them.
weird square chest.
Yeah, you can
boobs.
just see it here.
Yeah.
It goes through each cast member actually, because you can see the seams.
Let's not go through every
Look,
single one, maybe.
yeah, you can see the side seam there. Look. Anyway, there we go. That was that.
Karen's like, it seems a little bit different. I think
Why
she's
can't
just
you be
trying.
that interested
She's
in
just
actual
humouring
fashion?
us.
Oh, fashion's boring.
So the other thing was
Says
that
he that's going through different bits of uniform.
the other thing was that the piece of music that was played on the beach. Does anybody know that? Or there's no questions on it, are there? It was the Hungarian dance number 5 by Johannes Brahms, and apparently originally they were going to have the engineer in this episode as a offspring of Daystrom, and the name was going to be something Daystrom. I can't remember where I've got that one, but the people who cast her didn't realize that she should have been cast as a black actress. So when they realized that they'd cast a white actress, they decided to change the name. So yeah, they went for Brahms, and there was some Brahms music, and it just had like a little tie-in, sort of like little Easter eggy thing there.
So we've got answers in. I'm going to go A. I see everybody else has gone E. None of the above. So probably very wise. Probably very wise of you.
So what's
Picard
Maz?
is super sexy. I have no idea. I'll go B, I guess. I don't know.
So we've got A, B,
Haven't
or
got
E.
the slightest clue.
A, B, or E. So anybody, obviously, just to remind you the rules, if you put E, you have to put what you think it is.
No.
to get the points. Or I tell you what we'll do is we'll give
You
out.
don't.
True.
You don't. We
We'll
didn't
give
say
out.
that last time.
We'll give out 25 TNG points as agreed. Okay, and then I will give you another 25 TNG points if you actually put the correct coordinates in chat, the full correct coordinates.
Oh, so
But
it is
the
E.
answer is E.
It is E.
So-
I had a feeling it would be E. As soon as you said E, I was like, oh, it's going to be E. I knew it. I should have stuck with E. Stuplum reckons 211.
Need the full coordinates.
Mark 6.
Excellent research, Stuplum. You are bang on. It was 211 Mark 61 was the coordinates.
Yeah.
Great note taking, Stuplum.
Very
good.
Well done,
Takes
everyone.
it seriously, he does.
Give yourself points. Give yourself lots of points.
Yeah, I don't want any points this week. I don't know. It all went to my head winning last week for the first time. I'm not playing this week.
No. Yeah. Okay, so that was the teaser. On with Act 1. Was there anything else to say about the teaser, about the shots or the continuity or anything?
That it was an awful
Not that I
scene,
know
but
of
move
yet.
on.
Great. Okay. On the way to the transporter, Riker argues with Picard about Picard deciding to lead the away team to the ancient ship. Picard, though, asks him if he ever wanted to get inside the bottle. Riker's nonplussed on the reference, and Picard goes on to explain how he used to make ships in a bottle when he was a boy. In the transporter room, he asks Worf and Data if they ever built ships in a bottle when they were boys, and Worf says he didn't play with toys. And Data says he was never a boy.
I just want to
O'Brien-
interject at this point
Sorry.
that apparently there is a blooper reel that exists of this episode of just that moment where Michael Dorn turns around and accidentally says, I did not play with boys instead of toys, and everybody just fell about laughing. It would be great
Very
to see
good.
that blooper. I might look it up at some point online.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Data was never a boy. O'Brien pipes up from the back. I did. Hey, being brown-nosing O'Brien. That's what we're going to call him for the rest of the episode. After they beam out, Riker looks at O'Brien with a questioning look. But O'Brien sticks to his story. Well, I did. On the derelict ship.
It actually turns out later that he did.
Yeah,
There's an episode that features, I think, or is it in Deep Space Nine? There is something to do with O'Brien and ship in a bottle.
Well, there's something like where they create that big sort of, that ship, don't they? Like, but it's not in a bottle. But
No.
But there is a reference to this in All Good Things, where Picard's gone back to the very beginning at Encounter at Farpoint, and he comes across O'Brien and makes some reference to the fact that he knows O'Brien plays with model ships.
Yeah.
And he's like, how did you know that? And he goes, oh, I read it in your file or something. But clearly he's, accidentally letting on that he knows these people more intimately than they realise, being that they just met him.
You can see in Picard's face that he'll remember this response from O'Brien.
Ah,
Yeah.
a kindred spirit.
He's like, oh, there you go. See, I'm not talking nonsense. So, yeah, O'Brien saved him there. So, yeah, he remembered that. He remembered it. Yeah. On the derelict ship, Picard, Worf and Data, there they are beaming out. They inspect the bridge and find the crew dead at their posts. Picard thinks the bridge layout is elegant and functional. What can you tell us about the bridge there, Mazza Bob?
I
Thank
don't
God, I
know,
thought you were going to ask me then.
Probably a redress of a battle bridge or something, but I don't have anything specific about it in my trivia.
Isn't it the original Enterprise?
Nope. No, it's a redress of the Klingon bridge from
right.
that one where Riker goes on that Klingon ship.
All right.
Ah,
It's a
there you
redress
go.
of the Klingon bridge.
Code of
I
Honor.
do not have that in my trivia.
Code of
I'm afraid.
Honor. Yeah. It's got some other elements in it that were taken from other bits, and it's used a couple more times in various guises. Even the captain's chair is the Klingons' captain chair, and yeah. So I don't know. Have we got a picture of it? No, not at the moment. Yeah. It doesn't look particularly elegant, though. I don't know why Picard thinks it looks elegant, because it's a bit of a mess. Anyway, in 10 Forward, Geordi's talking to Guinan, and he wants to drown his sorrows in alcohol, but she's like, it won't do you any good. Before talking about relationship stuff, though, he confirms with Guinan that she is indeed a woman, and she confirms that she is. I suppose with aliens, you can never be sure. Geordi wants to know what women want in a man, and what Guinan wants in particular. And Guinan says, for her, it's the head. And he's like, the brain. She's like, no, the head. She likes bold men. And the reason for that is a bald-headed man was kind to her once. And we all know who that bald-headed man was.
Sorry.
Just eating his donut. Look.
Yeah.
You're licking your lips as well.
Oh my gosh. It's tasty donuts.
Tasty donuts. Yes. Bald-headed man. She likes bald-headed men. Geordi says...
Mark, you're in there.
I know, yeah.
Don't you think, though, seriously, that was... Do you think that they wrote that before and then just referenced back to it? Or that was always clever writing plot within the writers, the show? Because there's something significant that happens around that down the line.
Yeah, well,
I think they've said before that, the bond between them goes beyond friendship, beyond family, or something like that. They've made some references before to the fact that, they've got like a bond. So I guess the writers probably knew that they were going to write some sort of backstory with Picard and Guinan. Whether they had the specific backstory in mind, I don't know. But yeah.
Apologies for those that haven't watched beyond this episode, 'cause you wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but you'll appreciate it down the line at some point. Very clever.
Time's arrow.
Yep.
Timey-wimey things. Yeah. Geordi says he just doesn't know how to talk to women like Christy. And Guinan says basically that he's trying too hard. Mickey's been out for 20 minutes. His dad called. He's back, though. Well, welcome back, Mickey.
Well, he's still got the points for E, and we didn't ask any other questions yet.
That's
so
right. You haven't missed out on any points. You're doing well. On the bridge, Wes picks up fluctuated readings, just as Data restores power on the derelict ship. They turn off the distress signal, and Data discovers their crude version of isolinear chips. On it, they find the captain's log, and the captain says he alone is responsible for the deaths of everyone on board his ship. They're awaiting return, and Picard's buzzing about his trip. We haven't got another picture. I will leave it there. Where does it say? On the bridge.
Super excited.
Yes, he's buzzing about his trip. He's super excited. Riker and Troy are intrigued at seeing this side of Picard. As they go to leave the area, they get bombarded with high-intensity radiation. They try to reverse course, but there's no response. Increasing speed to warp 1 didn't help either. So Geordi reports that everything's okay in engineering. They should be going a bat out of hell, but they're not moving. Eventually, they have to turn the engines off before they burn out the reaction chamber. Picard laments, is it possible that they've been caught in the same 1,000-year booby trap? And that's the end of Act 1.
Question time.
Yay!
Woo! Yeah, so this was kind of a little bit earlier in the act. It was a bit of a segment or a scene that Monty missed out of in his narration when they were on board the ship, the wreckage, not the wreckage, what do you call it? Derelict.
The derelict.
Yeah, when they were on board the derelict ship, there was a camera scene that popped back to the bridge of the Enterprise. And at that point, we see Wesley and Riker on the bridge. And Wesley describes the Enterprise power return to be acting A, strange, B, weird, C, peculiar, D, extraordinary, or E, none of the above. Wesley describes the Enterprise's power return to be acting A, strange, B, weird, C, peculiar, D, extraordinary, or E, none of the above.
I know this one.
Did I not say?
Dunno. What else do I have in terms of some trivs and things? A lot of them are for a little bit later, unfortunately. However, one thing is that apparently this was the first episode directed by Gabrielle Beaumont, and actually the first Star Trek episode ever directed by a woman. I mean, I know we've got like some lady writers and things,
Yeah.
but apparently first lady director.
Oh, there you go. It's taken to season 3.
Yeah. Hi guys, it's Alex on Smiler Rainbow's phone.
Hi, Alex. You're right. B's looking favourite.
The other thing, which is a
Well,
random
Maz
side,
says she knows on this one, so
I do.
Yeah.
jump
I
in there,
didn't
Maz.
It's B.
Yeah.
Everybody's right.
Everybody's right.
Oh, is Smiler taking part now?
That's
Or is
Alex,
that
I think.
Alex?
Oh, it's
Alright.
Alex. Alex
So
wants
we'll
some
put-
TNG points for
We'll
himself.
put Alex up on the scoreboard as well then. So what's your answer, Monty? Are you falling into the same trap as everybody else? Trick question. What? Sorry, no,
Oh.
carry on. What's your answer?
I'll go E.
Oh,
Just
See.
to be different.
there you go. I just tricked you into a different answer than everybody else because everybody else is right. So well done, everybody. You've got a Lieutenant Commander promotion and 50 TNG points.
Foiled again.
I don't write that many notes. I've only got like a page of them, literally about 20 lines. But one of them says, power relays acting weird.
They're acting weird.
It's one of the few things I actually wrote down.
So yeah, let's do a little bit of a score rundown. So Lieutenant Commander Alex is on 50 TNG points. We have Maz, Lieutenant Commander Maz on 50 points. Lieutenant Commander Karen on 75 points. Lieutenant Commander Mickey on 75 points. And just dipping out in front, Lieutenant Commander Stu Plum on 100 TNG points.
Well done, guys.
Mickey, close your ears in case this is a spoiler. But bearing in mind G-Star's question last week about a certain person's parents and what their name was, the Russian kind of parents, this is just like an odd bit of trivia, is that later on, Alexander Rushenko gives his birthday as 43205, which is pretty much around about the time of this episode. So, whilst this episode is on somewhere in the universe, Kayla is probably in labor.
Wow.
It's just
There we go.
interesting knowing that other things are going on elsewhere in the Trek universe at this time.
Lovely.
I'll say a little thing about the ship. We saw it at the beginning here. There it is. Well, it's a very big close-up of it. That ship is actually a miniature that was built and used for the horror film Night of the Creeps.
Oh.
So it wasn't.
It's funny because it actually looks like something from Red Dwarf.
Yeah, it was built for the horror film Night of the Creeps, and this is its first appearance in TNG. It actually appears several times in TNG, but this is its first appearance. And actually, from Night of the Creeps, they actually turned the model upside down. So for Star Trek, we're actually seeing the ship upside down from what it was originally intended. So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. Right, back to, there you go, Geordi in engineering. Senior staff meet in the observation lounge. Sorry, we're going on to Act 2 now. And Geordi reports that the reserve power will be depleted in 3 hours. Worf can't find the source of the radiation, and there's no explanation for the power loss. Riker asks Data if there's anything in the history books that would give him a clue, and Data reels off all the strategies that the Promelians used, but none. Riker cuts him off because he's, but were any like this? And he's like, no, none of the strategies look like this. Riker thinks that going back to the derelict ship might bear some fruit. Picard agrees and orders him to take Data and form an away team. In engineering, here's Geordi in engineering. Geordi discovers the problem is that the engine cannot create a subspace bubble, and finds in the ship's library an expert in this field named Dr. Leah Brahms. He loads her work into the computer, and on the bridge, Dr. Crusher wants to cut off all non-essential spaces and group crews together to save power. On the derelict ship, Riker and Data find more memory coils, and they decide to bring them back to the Enterprise. Geordi wants to turn the engine inside out, so decides to recreate Drafting Room 5 of Utopia, Planitia, Fleet Yards, where the Enterprise was built, in the holodeck. In recreating the room, he also accidentally recreates a holodeck version of Dr. Brahms. When she appears, he gives her a good looking up and down. And she stood there and she looks... I asked my daughter Anna what she looks like when she appeared, and she said she looks like some sort of severe version of Mary Poppins. Okay.
That's very true.
It's a good description.
It's like a strict nanny.
Yeah, she does look like a strict nanny. Oh, there's a picture of Riker and Data finding their versions of the Isolinia chips. And there we have
the severe nanny.
The severe nanny. Yeah. She kind of has the sort of permanent I've just sucked a lemon sweet look.
And it's very disturbing the way she speaks, like there's no expression at all on her face.
There's no expression. Yeah. So anyway, that was Act 2. I just whistled through that one.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Have we? So, did you completely just whistle through the whole briefing? Was that when you were talking about Riker stopped Data when they were having the briefing?
Yeah.
Crusher wanted them to gather together and things.
Who fancies a commander question then?
I do.
Go for it.
Who wants me to dish out to them a commander promotion and another 75 TNG points? Give me a thumbs up in chat and I'll give you the question. Until then, nothing coming from my lips.
Well, until then, so initially, apparently, it was going to be Picard that was involved with the simulated character, but then Michael Piller recalled that he thought, well, Picard should be on the bridge, not chatting with some woman in the holodeck in a crisis like this. So it didn't quite feel right. And then they thought, maybe it should be Geordi because he's in love with the ship. And this, he said it's basically a story about a guy in love with his 57 Chevy, which sort of suited Geordi's character in that he's a little bit fumbling around women at the best of times anyway. And by creating this, personification of his engine, effectively, it's almost like a guy who gets to marry his favorite Pontiac or whatever. It's a little bit like that.
It's like that though, isn't it? It's that kind of it's that sort of like love story between Geordi and the ship.
Sorry to interrupt, I've got to give the question because it's already in chat. Which bridge crew members are missing from the briefing in the observation lounge? Is it A, Dr. Crusher and Acting Ensign Crusher? Is it B, Councillor Troy and Acting Ensign Crusher? Is it C, Councillor Troy and Dr. Crusher? Or is it D, Acting Ensign Crusher and Data? or E, none of the above?
I
Smiler's
don't
not
know.
happy. Too many
I could make a
characters.
guess, but I don't know.
I
Which
think
bridge
I
crew
know.
members were missing from the briefing in the observation lounge?
What else? What else? So Leah Brahms was born in Damascus City, apparently, on Alpha Delphi 9. Birthday September the 11th, 2336. Not that anybody actually cares about that.
I do know. Okay, go on.
No, carry on.
About Leia Brahms' character, that she was supposed to be originally like the great granddaughter of Dr. Richard Daystrom.
Yep, already went through that earlier.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
But they didn't cast a black actress.
Oh, you said that. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
That's all right. But also,
Apologies.
do you know about the actress who plays her?
No.
So a couple things. One is that apparently, I mean, this seems absolutely crazy to me, but apparently she auditioned for the roles of Deanna Troy, Lieutenant Tasha Yar, before Marina Sirtis and Denise Crosby. And then she was later a frontrunner for Catherine Janeway, Seven of Nine, and the Borg Queen.
Wow.
But then they cast other people in those roles as well. So it's a bit of a shame. I mean, you know, I put out about this episode on the sort of Star Trek fan side to see what people's thoughts are, and loads of people said they thought she should have been brought back more as a character, and they really liked her as a character. So it's a bit of a shame that as an actress she didn't get more of a role. However, she did play a different character also in Star Trek. I don't know if anybody is aware of who that is.
It
No,
was
I don't know.
something to do with a planet that had radiation.
Okay. I tell you what, it could be a trick question.
No,
it could be a trick question like G-Star's
Voyage.
questions. It could
Voyage.
be she played Leah Brahms, the actual person, not the holodeck character.
Yeah, 'cause she does return later on, doesn't she?
She
But I
does
believe
return as this character.
that
Yeah.
she was in Voyager or something where she was. No, what's that species that harvests people's organs? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
The
they have
Vidians.
They have
Yeah.
the phage. Is that the guy's
Yeah,
name?
she
Phage.
no, she was not a Vidian. Well, she wasn't a Vidian that I'm aware of, and that certainly didn't come out in the trivia. I'm just trying to find where it is in all my many pages of notes. But she was actually in, and I didn't even realize this either. And now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why did this not register with me? But she's in a really great two-parter from Deep Space Nine. I think the second episode of which was called, either the first or second was Homefront. And it's where the shapeshifters try basically making a move on Starfleet headquarters in San Francisco. And there's a particular shapeshifter who's taken over the body of a admiral and starts sort of trying to create war and stuff like that. And she plays a captain who's sort of supporting him. And I can't for the life of me remember her name as the captain, but yeah, she's really good. She's really good in that part as well. There gets this point where Sisko's like trying to convince her the admiral is actually a baddie, and she's got to make this call as to whether to destroy the Defiant or not, or let them pass. So yeah, she's really good in that role as well.
Didn't even realise. I don't think.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Night of the Creeps. I did have that in my trivia. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, for question time and for the commander promotion
Yep.
and the 75 TNG points, we've got 2 Bs and we've got an A. What's your answer, Monty?
I'm going with what was it? I think it's Troy and Ensign Crusher, so I'm going B.
Same here.
And has Al Pal left the competition already?
Oh, I think Al Pal's left. Al Pal's left the building. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's
you
the
know,
answer then, G? What is the answer to
The
this question?
answer for this one is E. None of the above.
Ooh.
Oh, damn it.
So
No, I'm just
nobody got it right.
joking. I'm just joking. Everybody who put B got a promotion. So that was Commander Mickey, right?
Yep.
Yep. I got some points.
Commander Karen.
Commander Karen. He jumps up to the same 150. Maz.
Commander Monty.
Yep.
Commander Monty.
And
got that
Alpal went for
promotion.
an E, actually.
A.
Oh, never mind,
E.
Alpal.
Oh,
Never mind.
okay. So sorry. No.
No.
Still a
no.
lieutenant, Alpal.
And
No,
Stu
no
Plum went
deuce.
A, so no promotion for Stu Plum, Lieutenant Commander Stu Plum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Continue
Onwards and
A.
upwards. Continue A with Act 3. Geordi is confused why she appeared, and the computer clarifies that you asked that Doctor show you, so here she is. Geordi tells the hologram to continue, and she goes on to giving Geordi an idea of how to maintain the shields, though she does this in a very robotic way, as Maz mentioned earlier. Geordi informs the bridge, and then they start to look into propulsion. Her lack of personality, though, is bugging Geordi, and the computer will not access her personal records to recreate it. Geordi asks the computer to access information from debates she took part in, and then use that data to facsimilate her personality. She then comes to life and tells him to call her Leia. On the bridge, Data, Picard and Riker are reviewing the alien logs. And they find that the surrounding asteroids have been booby-trapped with acetone assimilators. And that it's impossible to destroy all of the asteroids without supplying them the energy from the phasers that will in turn be used to destroy themselves. Back on the holodeck, Geordi and Leia, not Leia, that's a completely different show, Leia, argue on how to make sure they can maintain the ship's life support systems without losing additional power. Geordi points out that she worked in theory in the lab, and here they're dealing with a machine that's got thousands of light years on it. Leia in the end backs down and tells him he's good, to which Geordi replies, I know my ship. He says he knows it inside and out. And she says, well, you know me inside and out then, because there's a lot of me in those engines.
Definitely a bit of ick factor.
Yes,
And look, you can see the seams on his shirt really well in this picture.
yeah, look at the look at the seams. Look at the seams.
I can see the seams in this one.
Yeah. You won't see those seams on Picard because he's got the new... no, I'm not going there.
And Worf is wearing the new one as well.
No, he's not.
No.
Yeah, he is.
No.
Go and check the pictures.
No.
I shown you the picture earlier.
Yeah. I think you need to show them again to be. No, I'm joking.
Don't do it.
Move on. Carry on.
I'm doing it now.
Oh,
No, don't,
Oh,
please.
No.
You started-
Oh,
you
no,
started
look
it.
what you did.
Good God.
Look
Look
at
what
the
you
seam.
did.
Look at the seam.
Look,
You can
how
see the seam.
You can't see any seam. You
Seam.
may seemingly see
See the...
that you seems a seam, but it's not really a seam.
Oh, dear.
And now you're just making a seam.
I'm making a scene for my scene.
I don't know if that. So I've got like loads of trivia around this whole sort of stuff in this room that they're in and everything. So
Yeah.
one thing is like they've got pictures all over the wall at the lab thing there. I think one of them is apparently like a floor plan of Mintaka 3 or something, or like a map of Mintaka 3.
As you do.
Which is a bit odd because, they probably, I don't know, maybe they were aware of it then actually, because, they would have had scientists studying it. And various other bits and bobs. It's also, this is a bit of a stretch, but a hidden 47 reference perhaps. Leah Brahm says the star date for the dilithium chamber being created was 4052. 40,000 or 40052. So
Right.
if you add the 5 and a 2, that's 407.
Yeah.
47. Don't know. Bit of a stretch.
Bit of a stretch, that one.
Yeah. There's probably more, but carry on for now. There's too many.
This
notes
room
to
is
look
also a redress of the battle bridge.
through. Oh, yeah. Oh, there
the
had to be
court-
some sort of redress of the battle bridge. There's always
Yeah.
a redress of the battle bridge.
Yeah. The courtroom in Measure of a Man, and various labs and all sorts of.
Do you know what? You're just destroying the fantasy, really.
I have pictures if you want to see a
Like now, I
comparison.
watch
No,
these
of
that's
them.
all right.
episodes and I don't see sets. I just see recycled pieces
Sorry.
of previous episodes.
There's in this scene as well. There's a model of a Constitution class starship, painted silver, which has always really annoyed me because the nacelles were glued on sideways, which they shouldn't be for that particular model. And I have that exact model in my model collection, and around the saucer section there's separate plates for the windows, and they left those out, so there's just big holes in the saucer section, which is really annoying. I've always wondered why they left
There's
that
also
in.
a model of a. It says it's a model of a pre-refit and refit Constitution class. I don't know if parts of the gaps were because it was part through
Oh,
construction
maybe
or
they
something.
they left the middle. I see. Maybe they left those plates out because it's supposed to be in mid construction.
Yeah, so there's a
see.
pre-refit and a refit Constitution class, a Galaxy class starship, and a D7 class starship also featured.
Well, they still glued the warp nacelles on.
I'm wrong.
I don't know why I couldn't have got that right.
That's
But
funny.
anyway.
And G-Star says Monty made models in bottles.
I d-
Maybe
Yeah,
without
Yeah.
bottles, but you certainly made models.
You just went full geek then, just starting to talk about models, and
I
I
have
got
many.
this
channeling
model.
Picard and his
Uh-huh.
boldness.
yeah. Me and him were just one of the same.
Yeah.
Me and my little ships. I got many a Star Trek model. I tell
Maybe
you.
that's some sort of study that needs to be done in sort of whether there's any continuities between men who like to play with models in bottles and boldness.
Maybe. O'Brien does wear a wig, so
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the graphics were a topographic map of Mintaka 3 and also a graphic from Dr. Paul Mannheim's lab in We'll Always Have Paris.
yeah. So at the end of the scene, oh sorry, carry
The
on.
only other thing, because I think in this one, isn't this where Geordi says something about when they're having that argument, he says, yeah, but this Enterprise has got tens of thousands of light years on it or something.
Yes.
Which I think would be not right because in Voyager they're 75,000 light years away and they say it will take 75 years to get back. So if the Enterprise had tens of thousands of light years on it, then they would have had to have been at warp for tens of years constantly,
Yeah.
like 20, 30 years constant warp. Anyway,
I wrote thousands of light years. It might have been tens of thousands. Yeah.
it definitely said tens of thousands.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's wrong, isn't it? That's wrong.
It is wrong. It's the sort of thing you'd expect an engineer to get right.
Unless the engine was second-hand when they put it in the Enterprise.
But it should theoretically have less than 3,000, maybe even less than 2,000 by now.
Or maybe it's the fact that the Traveller boosted the engines like through to another galaxy.
There
Maybe
is
that's.
that.
maybe
I mean,
that's
also Q kind of knocked them pretty far from time to time.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, in terms of the writers, they're probably thinking about the fact that with a car, you get roughly 10,000 miles on the clock in a year. So they're like, oh, it's been 3 years. Must be about 30,000.
30,000. Yeah. Yeah.
Never
No,
mind. Poor
that's
writers.
That's England. Actually, America, their mileage is a lot more, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
they're sort of
true.
spaced out. Anywho, at the end of this, Geordi gets summoned to the bridge, and on the bridge, Data thinks there's probably around several 100,000 assimilators out there creating this radiation field, though due to their age, there may be some deterioration. Worf confirms there's a 0.1% loss at a certain point. Data also points out that the phasers could supply the assimilators with even more energy, making their situation a lot worse. Picard says he imagines that the crew of the ancient ship having the same discussion over 1,000 years ago. And look how that went for them. But they decide to do it anyway. It just made me laugh. They were like, yeah, we shouldn't do this because this is going to be very bad for us. Okay, ready phasers. They destroy a couple of asteroids and it has no effect, but the radiation field increases in strength, making their situation indeed a lot worse. With the energy drain now, Geordi finds the holodeck simulation turned off due to energy restrictions. And that is the end of Act 3.
Do you want to hurry up on your ginnies, by the way?
Ginnies?
Yeah, ginny, gin.
I finished my donut.
She's making a drink.
Did you? Did it taste nice? Did it have like hints of,
It was very
juniper and
special.
vanilla or?
Yeah, it was definitely had an essence of sort of summer raspberry.
Nice.
This next gin is Wyvern's Classic Gin.
It certainly is. And it
Wyvern's
says,
Classic.
an immediate piney punch of juniper laced with dry peppery notes. Nom, nom, nom.
Dry peppery notes.
Sounds nice.
Yeah. Was there any question time at the end of that act, G? Or
There was, yeah. But again, for the second time this evening, you've kind of given out the answer. So
ask the question anyway. Maybe we'll.
Depends whether people are paying attention.
Okay.
I mean, Montyban wasn't paying attention
I'm
when I
gonna
said earlier about Daystrom.
No, that's right. Yeah, Daystrom.
I'm gonna improvise. So the next question is a holographic question. That's the themed question. So Leah Brahms, who's the engineer from Utopia Planitia and part of the designer of the Enterprise, what side of her face has she got a face mole? Is it A, the right side, B, the left side, C, no side, or E, none of the above?
How the heck did I give the game away?
D was it's on the back of her neck.
Would D not be both sides? Anyway.
The mole. Where was the mole? Find the mole.
Yeah, you're going to have to... well, sorry, should I be doing some trivia here?
Right.
I'm too busy trying
left,
to message Mickey about...
No
gin.
side. None of the above.
There was like one comment saying that, when he runs across Dr. Leah Brahms' name, he's like, oh, who's this? And he should know if she wrote some book on warp propulsion. But, I mean, like the Federation is a big place, right? And she was also quite junior, apparently.
It says she was junior.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that's a good bit of trivia anyway.
No.
So this was just a fun question, to be honest with you. I'll ask the real question, but I'll give whoever got it right an extra 5 TNG points.
I'm going to go left. What was left?
I'm going to go...
B.
Left was B.
The mole is in the hole. I got the mole and it lives in a hole. I'm going to go D because I'm pretty sure there's one on both sides.
Whack-a-mole.
There's like one on her lip on one side and then one
So
by her nose
in
on
my
the
mind,
other
it's
side.
on her left side. On screen, it would appear on her right side, but it's on her left side.
We can't see. She was blurred on that.
Zoom in.
It was blurred. Oh, we can't see her kissing. So.
Well, you can...
Let's find a better picture of her, shall we?
It's at left side. I'm sure of it.
Both.
Oh, no, I think it's left. It's definitely left. I'm going with left.
Lip one side, nose other side. I'm telling
I
you.
can't find any pictures of her.
So to give the guys in chat a bit of a head start, here's the actual serious question. The themed question was a Booby Trap question. When discussing, this is worth 75 TNG points, by the way. When discussing the radiation field emanating from the Booby Trap, Picard asked Data, how many devices do we think we're dealing with? His answer is A, 3, B, 100, C, thousands, D, hundreds of thousands, or E, none of the above.
Oh. I think I did say that.
Yes, you're banned from answering the question.
Oh. Damn it.
Sorry, I'm still messaging Mickey. I have a lot to say about gin.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Well,
So
he was asking where the list was of what gins he should buy to join us in tasting the gins in this episode.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to him is if he starts getting gin deliveries from Little Gin Box, he would start receiving the same ones as us on a monthly basis. I mean, we're getting through a backlog, but yeah, if he started receiving future ones, he could taste them along with us.
So yeah, genuinely, I'm giving 5 points to anybody who got the answer right for the last one, which was Monty. You got it right as well. And get your answers in for this one.
Maz was right with the mole question.
What?
It was both. There was one on a lip on one side and one by a nose on the other side.
Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
counting the one on the lip. That's not face mole.
It is.
Because your lip isn't on your face.
No.
Crumbs.
It's like
She has one there and
Yep,
one
one
there.
there.
So
Yeah, that's
she has
you
one on
you don't
either
even
side.
see that one. You don't even see that one. No.
As somebody with a prominent face mole, I don't even know if you can see it, but I've got a rather large mole right in my eyebrow. I notice face moles.
There you go. She also has one. She wears a polo neck, but she has a big mole in the middle of her neck here as well. But there you go.
How do you know that?
I've seen other pictures of her. There you go.
Ah. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Just to confirm, Mickey, was your D that's sitting in chat there the answer
that
to
picture
this
of?
last question?
Oh, that's from the other episode later.
From
Right.
where she come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks hotter there.
Al Pal agrees with me. Doesn't really count as a face mole.
All right. Fair enough. We were wrong.
So if your son says it,
Oh, Mickey says the lip is just a cold sore. It's not.
No, he's there like
Yeah.
years later.
that's why you can't determine it as a face mole, because it's either a face mole or it's coleslaw. You just don't know.
What ifs? Once
What ifs?
again, I'm right,
What
and I don't get the point.
No,
No, you don't. I've already signed them and written them out.
it's a
So.
common occurrence.
That was like the whole, they didn't defuse any of the bombs because they found them defused.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I think the answer is hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
Whatever that was.
definitely.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
So
I
good
mean,
luck
it's just a
let's
case
sorting
of
through all the
people
answers to
remembering what you
those
said
two random questions.
10 minutes ago. Yeah, just give everybody the points. Yeah, try not to give out the last question, please.
Oh dear.
Okay. So, I think what are we on? Act 4 now, are we?
Yeah, we're off the rails and
Is that back? Yeah, okay. So, we're back in the observation lounge, and Worf reports that they have shields for now under 2 hours. Riker says that if they resist, they die. If they don't resist, they die. Basically, they're going to die. Geordi says he needs the holodeck to help work out the problem, so Picard resumes the program, but gives him an hour to come up with something. Geordi meets Leia again, and they brainstorm the issue. He asks her if she likes Italian food, and she says, wait until you try my fungili. Do you know what fungili is?
Yes, pasta.
Is it?
sounds like something to do with mushroom.
It does,
Dunno.
doesn't it? It does.
Do you actually know the answer to this, or are you just randomly asking?
I know the answer. Well, I
Okay.
don't know the answer. It's only mentioned in this episode. It doesn't exist. It's a made-up future thing. If you try Googling it, you only get references to this episode.
Ah,
Interesting.
yeah. There you
Fungili.
go.
Yeah. It's a future Italian dish. Doesn't exist. Yeah.
Very cool.
Geordi says this is impossible. He's annoyed and frustrated, so Dr. Brahms gives him a shoulder rub. By this time, it's Geordi's turn to turn the girl down. He doesn't want to feel good at the moment because they're all about to die. Yeah. Geordi says that the only way to get out of this situation would involve making changes so fast that it would be impossible. Leia says she could do it. But Geordi says not even Data could do it. It's humanly impossible. But she reminds him that she isn't human. She's just a hologram. Really, she's the computer. Geordi's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Just then, Picard arrives and is a bit confused to see the two of them in the holodeck together. He just kind of stands there staring at them. Geordi explains that he needed help from the expert who built the engines. And Picard's like, and Geordi tells him that they have a greater chance of getting out of there if they hand the ship over to the computer. Picard wants to know what the chances are, but Geordi says he needs to run some trials to know for sure. But be sure it's the only way. Riker joins Picard in his ready room and asks for progress from the Forge. Picard outlines their plan to turn control of the ship over to the computer, and Riker isn't comfortable with that. Why not? Why? It's kind of strange, I felt, their whole attitude towards relying on the computer to control the ship.
Yeah.
It's like the computer controls the ship anyway.
Most of the time.
You know.
Yeah, like they not have autopilot. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Even now, like airplanes pretty much fly themselves.
Yeah, all the pilots do is take off and land, and
Yeah,
the rest is hands off, pretty much.
pretty much. So, yeah, and Picard is once again lamenting about his childhood and building model planes. And it's amazing how they've gone from single prop planes to now computers flying them across the galaxy. Back on the holodeck, the trials are not going well. The computer Leia can't consistently make the changes in time. But then a red alert sounds. The shields have failed and they only have 26 minutes until fatal exposure. That was the end of scene Act 4.
So there are, the whole fatal exposure. If it would take 26 minutes, right, to for fatal exposure, then theoretically they should be experiencing some kind of side effects. I mean, you'd think that you'd get something from what's her face, Crusher, saying that she's going to administer some anti-radiation stuff to the crew or something. But basically they should all be like having crippling headaches and vomiting all over the place, even from like 5 or 10 minutes exposure. So yeah.
It would be on lower decks, wouldn't it? They'd be walking through the ship and everybody would be in the corridor just vomiting everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I had that same thought. I'm like, it'd be funny if they're on the bridge and like there's just like one of the extra crewmen in the background just like throwing up in the corner. It'd be hilarious. That's
what you'd have, wouldn't you? I think Alex is trying to get your attention, Mazza McBob.
Auntie Maria? Why? What for?
I don't know.
Oh, no, he's not. He's guessing.
Oh, he's
in
answering
the
the question.
Yeah, no.
I see.
I'm definitely not in the lead because I didn't even answer the first question.
It's definitely not me.
And I didn't score anything last time, even though I was the only one that was actually right, and it wasn't one of the answers given.
Talking of which, do we have a question time right now?
Yeah, do we have a question?
No, because the next question is the captain question, which we do at the end.
Right.
So there's one other little thing, we mentioned earlier about in All Good Things, there's almost this sort of throwback where Picard knows that O'Brien used to like model ships and stuff. But there's also in All Good Things, when he's in the future, he does ask Geordi, how's Leah? And Geordi says, busy as ever, she just made director of the Daystrom Institute. So at least in some sort of future potential alternate timeline, Geordi and Leah do end up together. But as we know, the timeline gets changed anyway at that point. But yeah,
we all kind of assume that that's the case.
That they end up together.
Yeah.
It's nice to think he gets a happy ending with all his fumblings.
I would have liked if in Picard, I've said this before, but if Picard, when he needed a ship to go to the Borg and that, if he'd turned to Captain the Forge, that rather than that old Admiral lady who swore at him. And they could have brought the Forge into it and used his contacts in the Federation, because I'm sure he would have been up for coming back to Star Trek.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that when people were commenting about Hugh and who liked Hugh as a character, and a lot of people like, yeah, but he was done bad in
Oh
Picard,
God,
and
Hugh was done bad.
and if Hugh was in it, why wasn't Geordi in it? It would have been great to see those two back together again, sort of thing. And yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, never mind. So yes, Act 5 then. We'll carry on and we'll have the last question at the end. Picard asks LaForge for an update because it's been an hour, but Geordi begs for another 2 minutes. Geordi has a new idea of turning the problem around on its head and programs a new simulation. He then reports to the bridge that he has a new plan. And so far, they have tried more power. They've tried more power. They've tried faster adjustments, etc. But that's what the trap's designed for and what it expects. So the answer lies in the best mind they have, the computer. I don't understand this line in retrospect. They have to have one single burst of the impulse engines and then shut everything down and then let momentum carry them away, making adjustments with 2 thrusters to get themselves free. The risk is even money, but better to die relying on human experience than to risk handing everything over to the computer. That's why I don't get it, because he starts off with, like, we're going to use the computer, and then his actual option is to not use the computer.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to, sort of do this whole human element, human intuition kind of stuff, and, which is bore out by Data's comment in a minute. Well, you should carry on, I guess. I'll talk about this later.
Yeah, I don't know if I say anything. I don't
well, because like Picard does like a slingshot thing around a
oh yes,
an asteroid.
Yes, no, we'll get that.
Yeah, carry on.
So Picard says make it so, and whilst Geordi offers to take the con, Picard decides to take the con from Wesley himself. Riker informs the crew to brace themselves and turns the computer warning off about the radiation because it's getting on his nerves. That's another thing as well. Is like, of all the people to take them, why not make Riker do it? Because he's supposed to be the best pilot in Starfleet. Why would Picard and his rusty skills be the one to take? I suppose it's because he's the captain and he got him into this problem.
They got a 50-50 chance. He wants to be the one responsible for it.
Yeah.
Picard is hell of a pilot as well.
He is. Yeah, he is. As we see now. And, So, yes, Picard fires the impulse engine and the old girl starts to move. He shuts it down and then drives them out of the asteroid belt with the right a bit, left a bit approach. The gravity of the asteroids, though, slow down their momentum. So Picard takes them close to one of the big ones and uses its gravity to slingshot the Enterprise around. Surprising Data. Picard hands the con back to Wesley and orders everything to be brought back online. He then orders the destruction of the old ship, so nobody else falls into the trap. I forgot the pictures. Look, there's
Booby
Picard.
Trap.
There's Picard talking to Riker, and there he is piloting the ship out.
So that was the second of only 3 times that Picard takes the con. Do you remember which other ones it was?
Yeah, there's one in the
series
episode about time, or where they meet the time bubbles, or I think there's a bit of pilot in there.
Was it 11001010?
Yes.
1100.
11001001, yeah. And the other one was in Conundrum, which was 1992. So I'm guessing that's around season 4 or 5?
Yeah, 5, I think.
Apparently.
Is that
Yeah,
is
5.
Conundrum the one with the time things and the Romulans? Oh, well, they're not actually Romulans. Yeah, well, it's aliens disguised as Romulans. Is that Conundrum?
Can't remember.
I remember. So I know it's season 5.
We'll find out in a couple of years' time.
Yeah. Next year, maybe late next year.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody ready for the captain question? Are you finished?
Not quite, but we can have captain question if you want.
Go on then, carry on. Well,
Okay.
yeah, go on.
Down in the holodeck, LaForge tells Leia that tech improves people's lives, like traveling across the stars and ships and allowing him to see. But sometimes you just need to turn it all off, including gypsy violins. She doesn't get the reference, but he says, oh, different program. She reminds him that every time he touches her engines, it's her, so she's never far from him. And then they kiss. There they are. And LaForge ends the holodeck program. So there you go. Final question, G.
It's already there in chat again. At the beginning of the episode, we see Geordi on a date on the holodeck. What color are the flowers in the background?
Oof.
And this is quickest, fastest off the buzzer, so you got to get your answers in. There's no multiple choice. It's the first correct answer in there. I didn't get a chance to say all of that.
I have no clue. I mean, it's got to be is that blue or blur, Karen?
I think it's blue. Answers in chat. It's the first answer.
Just pick a flower color, eh?
I think blue. I think
just
blue.
Picking a color.
I'm not going to say because I think Karen's beat me to it.
But... Well, there you go. We've got most flower colors on there. Nothing from Stuplum yet. If you're going to guess I was going to say, if you're going to guess Stuplum, guess something different.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to just guess something else just in... there you go.
Just in case. Orange.
Just so we got something else.
Karen's doing the whole going for all the colours again.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, so what I was saying about Data was it was the whole, the human element and the intuition thing, trumps computers, which fine. But then, Data seemed to be surprised by their slingshot maneuver, whereas, even now in NASA and everything since the 70s, they've been using slingshot maneuvers. But then perhaps it was more the intuitive way that Picard did it. He wasn't doing it with statistical models, with calculations and such like. He was doing it purely from intuition. He didn't know its mass or its exact gravity or whatever. And it was quite a cool maneuver. But yes, I think, and that's why they had Data so awed over it, because Data ultimately wants to become human and aspire to, having that kind of subtlety that theoretically is better than the machine. Apparently, although they had all the electricity off and everything and it was dark inside, when you see the external shots, it looks like all the windows are lit.
Yeah.
Small error.
Interestingly, but not interesting, if you watch it on Netflix or have the Blu-ray, when you see the impulse engines fire and the ship move forward, that's actually a completely new recreated shot, because the original shot, they felt that the 3-foot model that they used, it just didn't have enough detail, didn't look good enough on Blu-ray. So they recreated the shot from scratch in CGI. So it's a completely CGI Enterprise, one of the only CGI Enterprise shots in TNG now, because it's
interesting
in it. I have a picture.
And these, a comparison picture, that's always good.
Yeah.
These shots of this maneuvering apparently is one of the very few ever demonstrations of a chemical propellant propulsion. Not that anybody really cares.
Yeah, like the maneuvering thrusters. Yeah.
Another really good point, well, a couple of good points that were made, is that, Picard's supposed to be an archaeologist, and he was so excited by coming across that Promalian ship and basically said it should be in a museum. And yet they just decide to arbitrarily destroy it rather than, posting warning buoys or something like that. You think Picard, it just seems really out of character for him, bearing in mind, his sort of archaeological interest to
Isn't this
destroy...
the second time they've done that?
Don't know, possibly.
I just seem to remember having that conversation before.
And the other thing is they just destroy it all with photon torpedoes, like the little machines or whatever that are creating this... this radiation, which they use the phasers against, and it just made them stronger. If they could have just used photon torpedoes to destroy them, why didn't they? Why do they suddenly do that now without fearing that it's going to suck in the torpedo energy and become even stronger again and, cause more damage? So, yeah, it just seemed a little bit
Maybe because they were outside the field by that point, they could fire and the torpedoes could have momentum, where if they were inside the field, they might have got caught. I don't know. I'm just...
Don't know.
Blah. Anyway, this is the original shot of the model from the back. And oh, I've not got... This is the CGI, the complete CGI version now used in
and it was quite cool the way
Blu-ray.
you saw the the impulse engine firing up.
I thought when I saw it, I thought that's a really good shot. But yes, because it's
Can
completely...
you go back to the first one, sorry? I was too busy yabbering.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
first one. It's the same composition, but rather than use the model, they used CGI.
Yeah, looks much better.
Yeah,
Sharp.
Yeah.
Mickey says it's not an easy question when you're red-green colorblind.
Oh no.
What question? What question are you talking about?
Your question.
Oh, my question.
Keep your panties on.
Answers. Yeah, we got answers then.
Come on then, give us an answer.
Give it to us then.
Okay, well,
Put us out of our misery.
I don't need to give the answer. I think everybody has got what the answer is. It was a shame because I didn't get to talk about before the captain question how tight the points were. Anybody could have won. However, Alpal was only in a position to draw with our current leader at the time, who was Karen. So that was interesting because nobody mentioned Karen potentially in the lead except for Maz, I think. Thought she was joint with Mickey, but Karen was actually in the lead. So the person who got the answer fastest correct was Alpal, Free Smiler, who said red, and the flowers in the background were red.
Oh wow!
So that means that Captain Alpal gets the captain promotion. However, for the first time, we have a draw in terms of the winner, and both Karen and Alpal finished on 230 points. Very, very closely followed by Mickey on 225.
Ooh.
I think we have had a draw in the first season, haven't we? And I think we just gave a point to each person, I believe.
Yeah, just give a point. We'll give a point.
That's
each.
what I was, suggest is that give
we
a point
definitely
to Karen
haven't had one this season, and not for a very long time.
and a point to Alpal. So well done, guys.
Well done.
But Alpal gets the captain promotion.
Yeah, Captain
Well
Alpal.
done,
You'll have to make sure Monty Bam refers to you as Captain Alpal till next Friday,
Yeah.
next Wednesday.
That's right. My little captain. Right, let's share the scoreboard so you can see it.
Oh yeah, start getting your scores in chat. What you would score this episode? What did you think of Booby Trap?
There's Alpal now on 1. Karen goes into joint lead with Stuplum, who are both on 2 each. Smiler and Maz have 1. Mickey and myself are still yet to get off the ground.
Mickey, you were so close this week as well.
So close.
I thought this was going to be your week, Mickey.
Yeah.
Karen and Stuplum in the lead.
Yeah.
Mickey says 8. I don't know what he means by 8.
No, he says no 7. Scores out of 10.
Oh, score. Sorry.
Scores.
Yeah,
You asked for them.
Yeah. No, 7. All right. Your 7 is locked in and recorded.
So I actually posted just after last week's episode. I posted onto Facebook, onto the Next Generation fan page. Mickey, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but I was going to invite you to it, but I couldn't find you on Facebook. And I asked last week, gave people, what we were going to be reviewing the following week, and asked for everyone to give it marks out of 10. So I thought it would be cool to kind of crowdsource that. So I did have 13 responses from Elizabeth Burke, Adam Locke, John Hellier, Steve Moore, Arnold Morrison, Brad Williamson, Jeffrey Mackay, Aston Lewis, John Payton, Matt Milne, San Giovanni, Eli Antonius, and Jaminti White. So I am going to
Bless you.
represent the people's vote for what the average of what all those people thought it was out of
Right.
10.
Okay, that's going to be interesting.
So you're not reviewing the episode yourself?
Well, I do agree with the vote, to be fair. You
Okay.
know, I mean, if it was wildly beyond what but yeah, I think that it's pretty good representation, I'd say.
Okie dokes.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Ready? 3,
Un,
2,
deux,
1.
trois.
Hey, Mr. Scrooge McDuck there on the end.
Yeah, I really
That's
like
a very
this
generous
episode.
6.
Well,
I
this
really
episode.
like this episode.
I actually did really like this episode. If you recall, if you go back and watch last week's episode, and when we were talking about this episode, I was like, oh, yeah, I really like that episode. It's going to be really good. But actually, I haven't watched it for a while, and watching it, I didn't have the same feeling.
No.
I think
for me, there was little to fault. It's like, I think the story was good. I think the extras were good. There were some good little action sequences. I like the stuff with Picard. Yeah, I thought it was a good all rounder. I would say, I was going to say better than anything we've had so far this season, but of course I also really liked Who Watches the Watchers. So yeah.
Yeah, so that brings it out second behind Who Watches the Watchers so far this season.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
The average of the 13 people who did score was 7.84. The highest being a 9, the lowest being a 6, but most people scoring around sort of 8.5.
Yeah. Karen gives it an 8. Stu Plum and Mickey give it 7 each. So yeah, that's around a 7.
Agreement, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's come out as, just over 7, I guess, average. So yeah, it's that's where it is. I liked it for its tone. I liked the when the ship's losing power and the jeopardy of that. The bridge all in dark with just the sort of underlit areas. And the red lights, the emergency lights.
I had
in the
a note of that as well. I like the lighting in this episode, even though it wasn't supposed to be dark, but it was, but yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, made it feel very cinematic, and the episode looked great. And I like Leah Brahms. I like her character. I like the way they bring her back and what they do with that. It's pretty good. Yeah, I like it, like all that sort of stuff. It's a shame because originally you might have said this again before, Maria, and I was sorting pictures out or something and didn't hear you. But the holodeck portion of this was supposed to be like in a
Warp core.
cutaway version of the warp core.
I didn't say that, but yeah, it is in my notes.
But they didn't have the budget and that to create that, so they just used the sort of the lab battle bridge type set that they've got and used over and over again for other things. So they just, smacked that together, and I think it's a bit of a shame that they kind of didn't go the whole hog on that, because that would have looked really, really cool with like the warp core all exposed. That would have looked really good. But I mean, I like that. Seeing the Enterprise sort of half built in the background. Again, that shot was really improved with the Blu-ray as well. Don't know if you noticed, but
no, I suspected that was the case.
it's a matte painting, like a static matte painting in the original, and in the Blu-ray, they give it some like animation, like looks like someone's using a blowtorch on the source section because there's like sparks and things coming off of it, and they make it a little bit more dynamic. Which is quite nice. Makes it look a bit more, Yeah, no, I really like the episode. Pretty
Was
good.
there anything else specific you didn't like about it, G, or just didn't excite you as much as you thought?
No, I think. Do you know what? There was a couple of things that put me in a bad sort of frame of mind when watching the episode, which caught me a bit off guard because, like I said, I've always found this episode to feel like it is full of suspense and intrigue and all that mysterious stuff. But it was the first scene with Geordi on the date on the beach that just instantly I thought, you know what, if I was a director, I would have never have let that scene go to press, because the acting or the way in which the whole scene is displayed is just so like
Cringy.
Cringy.
Yeah,
It's
but
It
that's
is
what I
awful.
like
cringy.
about it.
Yeah,
It's
but
supposed
being
to
on
be.
that kind of an awkward date is cringy like
Yeah,
that.
but like
Yeah.
a 30-year-old man would not be doing the whole and then putting his hand there and being all like a 12-year-old boy. Like that just felt a bit weird and strange to me. And like I would have, if I was directing, I would have gone like make it feel a little bit more like grown up and a little bit more adult.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be a nerd, isn't he? He's supposed to be a nerd locked away in his engine room his whole life, and he doesn't know how to talk to girls. He doesn't know, because all he knows is how to talk to his engine. And this is him. This is him in this episode talking to his engine for real. You know,
For realsies.
for realsies. I liked it. I like that whole awkwardness because it is cringe. It's just like, oh God, no, kill me.
Sorry, Mickey's just confirming with regard to his colour blindness that he's good with traffic lights, even though he might muddle red and green up. It's only when those colours are mingled together that it gets confusing. Yeah, and he liked the detail of all the technical stuff in this episode.
Now, I'm going to do something controversial.
What's that?
You're not going to like it.
Don't get
But-
naked.
Right, hang on. Picard maneuver. No, I'm changing last week's score because I don't like
you
it.
regretted it. You regretted it, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm changing it. It's a 7, right? I can't have this. Who
On a
watches the
par.
Watcher on 8 and the bonding be on the same thing? It just it doesn't make sense in my head. I regret the teasing G with the 8. I gotta take that out. So it's a 7. There we go. I still go higher than you guys, but
Yeah,
Not an 8.
we would.
I will
on
allow
one.
that change as long as we can change our mind at any point about any score that we've given in the past as we go through the series.
no.
What, for previous series or just the existing series? Maybe we get 1 veto each per series if we really feel the need.
Really, I feel quite passionate about that one. I did get that wrong. So there you go.
Yeah, I felt quite passionate.
I feel
that you were wrong as well.
I feel a wrong has been righted. That looks better in my mind. That looks better. Which puts the bonding on the same level as Ensigns of Command, and I think that's probably about right. There we go. I feel better about that.
I mean, your scores though, it's like 7, 7, 8, 7, 8. They're all quite high. Only the first one.
Yeah,
not so
well, I
much.
love this series. It's probably one of my favourite series. It's just,
Do you know, that's what I was having a long chat with somebody on the Star Trek group, and they were saying that in their opinion, nothing in this series drops below a 7 out of 10. So
Yeah.
other than the evolution at the moment, you're pretty much holding to that theory.
yeah, it's good. It's good. And it just gets better. It just gets
Mickey
better.
says you wouldn't see that on Strictly with them
Yeah.
changing their scores retrospectively. That's a good
No.
point. You wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't indeed. This is the point of the show where Mazza Bob asks me what's coming up
What's
next
coming
week.
Next week.
Yeah. And next week's episode is The Enemy.
Womulan episode,
Yes.
isn't it?
Eh?
Womulan.
It's a Romulan episode. Yeah.
Those little wom-woms.
Yeah.
7.
It's-
Says Duplum. With a Strictly reference.
Yeah. It's a Star Trek The Next Generation version of I think is it Enemy Mine? The old 1980s film about a chap and an alien getting marooned on a planet together. They're at war, and they have to survive on this planet together. Alien, Enemy Mine. No, do you remember that? No,
Can't remember.
Just me.
It might be worthwhile saying or letting some of our guys know that I won't be here next week. And so if there's anybody that wants to come on and do question time in my place, by all means reach out to Monty or Maz and let them know.
Yeah. Else I'll be throwing the points away. I'll be just
There'll be another
lavishing you all.
13,000 points gone.
I'll be lavishing you all with points. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I could still do the questions.
Before. Mickey's been on the show before.
I can still do the questions.
You wanna
and
guess?
just
Let
get
us
somebody
know.
to read them out and send them to somebody, or they can choose to do themselves.
All
Yeah,
right.
no problema. Open to options.
Enemy Mine. There you go. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, I know who he
yeah.
is.
That was who was in that film. I remember it from when I was a kid. That was all. I think it's a similar thing. The Forge and Romulan are trapped on a planet, and they've got to survive together.
A little bit like Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Yep, very much like that. Yeah.
Sorry, Mickey, that won't make any sense to you, but give it time and you will. As they keep putting in the Star Trek group, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Darmok and Jalad Tanagra. I've got it on a cup on my shelf.
You do have it on a cup on your shelf.
Yeah. Yes. What else? We got anything else? No, I think that's it.
Don't think so.
Karen made it through the whole episode without falling asleep, so congratulations to Karen.
Well done.
Well done. You've done very well. We're very proud of you. And you made it to the end. So yes, join us next week for Mazin with Bob and myself for Enemy. And yeah, we'll see you then.
Lovely seeing you all. And
See
I can't remember how you say it. Good night in Klingon. Oh no.
It was
Mazram, everybody.
Mazram, and today's Klingon word was Garvam. Yeah, Booby Trap. Garvam.
Govan.
And you can get rid of the spreadsheet, by the way, as well.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, there we go. Hey, there we go. Yep, so see you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock for another TNG review show.
Ta-ra!
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.